So, real quick, I wanted to touch on the latest controversy happening with House of Late Dragoon. The fandom is in an uproar on social media, especially after a recent promo clip for House of the Dragon came out, in which Matt Smith is in it, and he's doing some type of interview, and there's a brief clip from Season 2 where Rhaenyra is confronting Daemon for some reason, and he is, for whatever reason, upset, he's pissed off, and he just lunges at her. And, of course, social media has blown up about this. This one person here specifically saying House of the Dragon was a mistake, exaggerating a little bit, but I understand. I understand where all the vitriol is coming from, especially from this.
Yeah.
And I don't blame people for being upset as they are, because you've said this multiple times, Daemon is not this way in the books.
But we've already ruined. He was already ruined last season.
You say it's because
Let's be very specific, okay? In the source material, we have no evidence that Daemon ever did anything that bad. He was mainly a very dutiful character, doing exactly what Rhaenyra ordered him to do. There are some things where people are like, oh, maybe he did this, but there's no proof. So, for instance, Daemon murdering Laenor, that is a rumor. Daemon, taking Rhaenyra out to rocks and having sex lessons with her. Those are rumors. Maybe you could say his duel with the son of the Sea Lord of Braavos, but we have no idea what really went down. Was he challenged or what? And then in the war, killing Laenor Velaryon, ordered by Rhaenyra. So, in the source material, Daemon, you could completely say that Daemon is kind of an innocent character who just, you could make the argument that he was honorable and dutiful his entire career
as a
soldier.
His
death. Yeah,
as a soldier.
Yeah.
As a person, however.
Now in the show we've made Daemon is a horrible human being. All right, he's a horrible, horrible human being in the show.
But he can still be a loyal soldier to Rhaenyra.
Yeah, he can still be a loyal soldier to Rhaenyra, but keep in mind, he murdered his wife in the show. Okay, he went around rounding people up and castrating them in the streets. Okay, he murdered an innocent person. He and Rhaenyra murdered an innocent person to swap out with Laenor. Okay,
exactly.
He is a horrible human being in the show. Horrible, and he physically abuses his wife too.
Well, briefly, I wanted to check out some of the discourse around this whole situation, and I chose this one thread specifically. I'm assuming it's a woman. The name here is Rosalind. She said, "Why do they keep adding abuse, unnecessary abuse? I don't get it." To which Jared comes out of the blue and says, almost like it's a show about misogyny and Daemon Targaryen was never a perfect example of a man. That's fair. To which Rosalind comes back and says, which didn't even happen in the books, so once again, unnecessary, okay, but my man Jared, clearly a fan of yours, coming out of nowhere from the top rope, he says, oh, you mean the book that's a third-hand account written by maesters with agendas? I get the discourse from both sides, but once again, Daemon has always been a character that has solved almost every problem in front of him through violence. He was married and didn't want to be married anymore, so, he solved that with a brick. Someone badmouthed his wife, and he took their head off, or half their head off, and it's always been like that with Daemon.
Yeah, I mean these are more abstract questions about whether, as a society, we should be watching entertainment that includes the murder of people and the abuse of people, men and women. I mean, this is a broader question. Yes, maybe there's something wrong with us as a society that we watch shows about killing people and abusing each other for titillating entertainment. That is a valid question. But accusing House of the Dragon specifically, how are they any different from anybody else? Are they glorifying it? No, they're not glorifying it.
I know, but I feel bad for people because it's very clear that some of these people here have seen this in their personal life, and that sucks.
Oh, absolutely.
But I also would like to see more, because writers nowadays love to throw realism in there, and they have to make it clear that all these characters are flawed and no one's perfect. I get that. But every now and then, I would love to see a phenomenal power couple like Gomez and Morticia from the Addams Family.
Gotcha.
My favorite example of a great relationship, kinda, is Hal and Lois from Malcolm in the Middle. Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah.
Great. But everyone sees Walt and Skyler from Breaking Bad, and they just want to like recreate that for some reason. I don't know why, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
Um, yeah, I don't know. The you get into these discussions, and all of these discussions about, complaining about portrayals of violence on TV, which is a very general thing, but people are trying to bait and trap everybody with saying like, oh, you excuse and condone the behavior of fictional characters on screen. Like this is like the trap that everybody's waiting for.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm not, like, just don't play that game. Okay. This is war games. Like the only way to win is to not play. Okay. But like, because this is clearly what somebody is doing when they post this kind of stuff, is they're looking to bait somebody into a situation where they can then accuse them of being an apologist. Which
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I'm probably going to get accused of that right now because you're right. There are changing a couple of things in the show. In that Entertainment Weekly article, I want to say she's the head writer. I'm assuming she is. She's always in fucking articles. But Sarah Hess, one of the writers for House of the Dragon, she has been on record, by the way, as saying she doesn't understand why the fandom loves Daemon, which maybe she's behind the Daemon abuse stuff. We'll see.
yeah.
She has been on record as saying how the moment Daemon gets to Harrenhal, Alice Rivers will be doing some bullshit to fuck with his mind. He can't eat, he can't sleep, he's having visions, quoting her. So maybe this is him going through it. Daemon is not a person that likes to sit down and air out his feelings, talk about what's going on with him. He's not that guy. He's never been that guy. I think that's why some of the women love him. He's that bad boy. However, I think that's what's happening in this scene, is that he's like, he's fucked up, something's going on with him, he can't like function, and here you have Rhaenyra coming in, and it's just a bad time. I'm not making excuses for the scene, I'm just trying to understand the scene of what's happening here, because you're right. Daemon in the books hasn't shown to be that guy, but once again, third-hand account.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't, the show House of the Dragon is barely based on Fire and Blood.
How dare you?
It's just there's so many rather significant differies.
How dare you say this? They have dragons, they have the Iron Throne. What more do you want?
I know. But yes, Daemon is utterly a different character, but of course they're going to be crossing the line with him so that people will have these discussions, so that chatter about House of the Dragon will spread, and so people will be like going, oh, this is exciting.
So what you're saying is here, so your conspiracy here is that they purposely put out some bullshit and fed this out there, knowing fully well that the fandom will be pissed and talk about it, thereby raising awareness
I think it's
of the
like
show.
falling off a log. I think that if you're going to do an interview, you know that a few things are going to go wrong, and so a few things are going to be taken out of context, and then but it plays into their hand. It makes the show more exciting, and everyone starts talking about it because, oh my gosh, this person made some sort of faux pas, But it's whatever gets more viewers, that's the whole thing, right? It's going to be racy.
Jon Stewart had a brilliant segment about this. We live in an outrage economy at this point.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. I mean, you can look at it like, is there any real reason that Jaime and Cersei need to be like twins? It's because the reason they're twins is
scandalous.
It makes it extra scandalous, and it's such a the thought is like, oh God, incest, having sex with your sibling, right? It's the same. You're throwing something in there that makes that grabs people on a visceral level, and so then you take something like A guy like beating his wife. Gets you on a visceral level. That's all it is.